Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce my group. My name is Dini Hadi Pratiwi and my friend is Siti Amaniasari. We would like to present about our article that we searched and learned before. The theme is word recognition. Word recognition refers to the presumed mental storage, retrieval, and use of person-sight word. Without word recognition, every word would have to be decoded through phonics every time it was read. Word recognition is part of a self-promoting cycle. The bigger the sight word vocabulary, the more words one is likely to read. The more words one reads, the bigger their sight word vocabulary. Word recognition is often the only way to learn and read irregular words. It is highly correlated to reading comprehension and is essential to independent reading. Word recognition refers to a component process of language. Word recognition transforms written and spoken form of word into linguistic representation. Historically, word recognition also refers to lexical decision performance. In lexical decision, participants judge whether individually presented letter strings actually spell words. With respect to a target language, linear statistical methods were applied to word response time data to isolate component effect and thereby individuate word recognition. Component effect would be revealed in additive interaction among factors that affect word response times, but empirical evidence has not resolved the nature of word recognition. Okay, the title of our article is Effect of Face Mask and Noise on Word Recognition by Children and Adults, that we published on October 2021 and was written by Anna Svakianaki, Devora Kiagiadaki, and George Cavendish. Okay, we start with introduction. A lot of research has been conducted on the speech perception abilities of children versus adults in adverse listening condition, Laybourne and Bass 2019. As understanding speech in noise is an everyday challenge for children in school settings and has a negative impact on learning. Erickson and Newman, 2017. There is a consensus that children face greater difficulty recognizing and understanding speech in background noise relative adults, with competing speech posing a greater obstacle than white or speech relative to adults. Corbin et al. 2016. Although the effect of noise and face masks on speech perception has been investigated for adults, to the best of our knowledge, there are no studies regarding children. Thus, the current paper investigates the influence of face masks and noise on word recognition in adults, and typically developing primary school children with normal hearing. Okay, the next is methodology. Well, methodology of this research, the participants are 26 listeners, 14 adults, and 12 children were recruited for the study. Adults were aged 19 to 51 years old, and children were aged 6 to 7 years old, and had just completed the first grade of primary school. All participants underwent formal audiological testing to ensure normal hearing, and 2 adults were excluded due to moderate hearing loss at the high frequencies. For the main experiment, 10 adults and 10 children, 5 male and 5 female, in each group, listened to 40 stimuli in each noise type, half produced with mask and half without mask. And afterward, the same words were presented in quiet in the same mask condition as presented in noise. Listeners' responses were recorded using Audacity and were read by the first author. Any response that didn't exactly match the original word was marked as incorrect.
And the next slide is results. For this result, both children and adults showed significantly better performance in the no mask. Also, children performed significantly worse than adults, although the mask seems to impede children's performance more than that of adults. And for the next slide is discussion. According to Snowling et al. 1986, the investigation of this matter, especially for children, is of great importance as auditory word recognition has an impact on language processing, the acquisition of new vocabulary, and the development of the reading skill. Thus, the trend for children's lower performance in the mask condition manifested in the present study should be investigated further, taking into account the aforementioned factors and including more child participants as well as participants with hearing or language impairments. The results of the main experiment demonstrate that recognition of low-frequency words produced with a surgical mask is significantly lower for both children and adults in quiet and noise. According to Snowling et al. 1986, the investigation of this matter, especially for children, is of great importance as auditory word recognition has an impact on language processing, the acquisition of new vocabulary, and the development of the reading skill. Thus, the trend for children's lower performance in the mask condition manifested in the present study should be investigated further, taking into account the aforementioned factors in including more child participants as well as participants with hearing or language impairments. So, why the article discusses our chosen topic? Because the obligation to wear mask due to the COVID-19 pandemic presents communication barriers to clarity of speech and understanding of language. More so for children than adults, mask affect children in word processing measures as a speech problem, so that new word processing is more difficult to accept than old words. And then we can apply in our feature teaching based on the article. The first type of mask and the last is increased sound frequency. Type of mask. Choosing the type of mask is very important to communicate so as not to cause sound attenuation. And increased sound frequency. One of the causes of using mask is the decreased level of word processing due to unclear voices. Therefore, when wearing a mask, it is hoped that they will be able to speak in a louder voice and the right intonation, especially for children because they find it difficult to process new vocabulary. So this is our presentation. Thank you for attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.